Good evening and welcome to the July 15th meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. At this time, I would ask you if you have any electronic devices, cell phones or such, please silence them. If you were here to speak on any application, we welcome you to do so. We just ask that you go to the podium and give your name for the recording secretary. All right, first up on the agenda tonight is to vote the minutes of July 8th.
Mr. Chair, I've reviewed the minutes and I have a number of small corrections to including one from Mike Powers.
Okay.
And making a motion?
Somebody else.
And I also did too, so I
Oh,
will
okay.
send mine along.
Yeah, that's what we send those along to.
So I would move to adopt the minutes with the corrections being
Second.
offered.
That's a motion by Mary to accept the minutes with the corrections, and a second by Mike. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstains? Unanimous, so moved. Okay, next up is,
I'm not voting, but I have nothing to do with those minutes.
oh, I'm
So I'm
sorry.
not even abstaining, I'm just not voting.
Okay, so, not voting.
Yeah, but
It
it's
is.
a negative.
Oh, I
It's
see.
a negative,
Right,
so.
gotcha.
All right. Let me see, next up, request for continuance under determination of applicability. John Drewley, 345 Hatchville Road, Hatchville, Mass., for permission to construct a four-bedroom, single-family house with attached garage, deck, stairs, install a Title V sewage disposal system, dry wells, retaining walls, driveway, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The applicant would like a continuance until July 29th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that's Maury and Betsy. Continuance to July
29th.
29.
29th. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, no. Abstentions?
Please pay for it now.
Unanimous, so moved.
No, I vote aye on that. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Paul Royer, 142 Jericho Path, East Falmouth, Mass., for permission to construct a 7-foot by 22-foot farmer's porch.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant is requesting a continuance until July 29th.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. I think that's that should be Falmouth, not East Falmouth.
It's in the Heights.
Yeah,
That,
okay, cool.
For the 29th?
29th. All right, next up, Stephen Cameron, 176 Wacoit Highway, Wacoit, Mass., for permission to prune trees throughout the property, remove dead trees, dying trees, and small bushes. Jen?
yes, Mr. Chairman. What is this one? They are requesting a continuance until August 12th.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry about that.
Okay. We have a motion by Maury. Was there a second by Court?
Yes.
Any other discussion from the board?
These were all continued until, correct?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? Unanimous, so moved. Next up is Joseph and Beatrice Mara, 133 Surf Drive, Falmouth, Mass., for permission to install a bluestone patio and native mitigation plantings. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, applicant is requesting a continuance until July 29th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that was a motion by Maury, seconded by Mary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
That's her problem.
Yes. Unanimous, so moved. All right, request to continue extension of existing amended orders of condition. Andreas and Joanne Spolaris, 78 Squibnaka Drive, East Falmouth, DEP number 25-3552.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant is requesting a continuance until July 29th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Unanimous, so moved. Did you get, who made the motion on that? Mara, you got it? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have that. Do I have Squidnocket Drive here?
It should be the big one on the.
Ah, here it is.
You remember.
Here it is.
You remember that.
Yes, I do.
Okay, request for a determination of applicability. In this case, if you're here for an RDA, you want to hear a negative finding on this. Means you can go ahead with your project. First up is Pedro Garcia, 97 Turner Road, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to remove and replace the existing septic system with a new Title V system, regrade and loam disturbed areas, and to restore the gravel driveway. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the staff has reviewed the project. We're recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not conformed.
So moved.
Second.
Maury and Mike? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Next up is Tim Leonard, 68 Natel Drive, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to cut down and remove 9 trees and to prune 12 trees. Jennifer?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, staff has reviewed the project. We are recommending a -2 under the bylaw and -3 under the state with the resource area boundaries not conformed.
So moved.
Second.
So we got Betsy and Court on that one. That's what I heard. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. All right, Steve Cameron's been continued till August 12th, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Kate Scanlon, 175 Shorewood Drive, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to remove and replace the existing septic system with a new Title V system, regrade loam disturbed areas, and to remove a tree. Jennifer?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
We'll say Mike and Mary. Any other discussion amongst the board here?
No love tonight.
Anyone want to,
I gotta get quick.
okay? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Charles and Arlene Gibson, 17 Brenton Road, North Falmouth, Mass, for permission to expand a wood deck, plant a replacement red cedar, and to install beach grass. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we're recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Court and Mary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Okay, next up is Stephen McPherson, 165 Coonamessett Circle and Coonamessett Circle map 10-03-018-171, Hatchville, Mass, for permission to vista prune. Jennifer?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Court and Mary? Any other discussion? Discussion from the audience? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. 142 Jericho Path, that's continued until
July 29th.
July 29th also, okay. John Drewley is also continued, still July 29th. That's 345 Hatchville. Okay, James and Deborah Moran, 15 North Chop Lane, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to install a 15-foot wide native shrub buffer strip, lot line to lot line, watered, and maintained in good health to fulfill an expiring order of conditions, DEP 25-1547. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, staff has reviewed the project. We're recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Mary and Mike?
I just had one question.
Yes,
I had one question.
Yes.
It says that above-ground system only for the buffer planting.
correct.
Is there a reason it can't have drip irrigation?
Drip irrigation, that's above ground,
Oh.
well, we mean not below grade.
Gotcha.
So
All
if they
right.
wanted to do drip irrigation, that would be fine.
Okay, just because it's more efficient. Thank you.
You think I mean the ones on the stakes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
All right, are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Elizabeth Ledwell, 26 Ambets Ave, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to remove the existing deck and construct a sunroom addition on the same footprint. Jennifer?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, -2 under the bylaw, under the state and bylaw, excuse me, with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So move.
Second.
I'll go with Betsy and Mary on that, I think. Okay. Continued request for determination of applicability. So that's 133 Surf Drive, we've already continued that, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And, okay, so Robert Ketchum, 45 Green Pond Road, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to pump, fill, and abandon 2 leaching pits and to install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the state and bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So move.
Second.
Mike and Mary. Any
Question.
discussion?
Yeah. These, by abandoning it, they're gonna be collapsed and filled.
Filled and abandoned.
Bill, yep,
Board of Health.
Filled and abandoned.
yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I see it.
And one question again, through you, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely.
Is there ever recommendations, I mean, these are all, areas that, they're not as bad as Little Pond area, but I don't see denitrifying going on anywhere here or improvements. And I just think we should start trying to get a little better bang for our buck if we're gonna be upgrading Title V.
Okay, we can pass
Yeah, just
that along.
pass it along to them.
Last week, we did pass along that.
Good, thank you. The one to the house on,
Yeah.
thank you.
Pass that along to the client.
Absolutely. Put it on the agenda. Okay, we all set? Nothing else, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Okay, this is a request for a hearing under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. And first up tonight, we have Susan Moran, 402 Wild Harbor Road, North Falmouth, Mass, for permission to remove the existing pool and patio, expand the pool apron, and associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll take any more questions until after the applicant's presentation.
You're up, Jack.
Good evening. Just some housekeeping first. Also, I don't know if the staff got the DEP number. I was sent it electronically, I forwarded it to you.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
Okay, so you did get it, good. For the record, my name is Jack Hall, I am a civil engineer in private practice, and I'm retained by the Grand
Jack?
I will.
Thank you.
With me, and in the, is that working? Okay, with me and in the audience is Mrs. Moran and her landscape.
Jack, if you speak up just a little also. I think
Okay.
you're having trouble hearing you.
Okay, Mrs. Moran and her landscape designer, Elaine Johnson. This is just an inset of this. We had that in each packet, so it was just a little more manageable. But just, as an ease in the staff or the members of the board going to the board. So having said that, you can throw it away if you wish. The project, if you look at this plan, looks complicated, but actually I think it's fairly simple. What is it we're trying to do? The Morans bought this property, I think in 1998, it might have been 1999. Since then, they've aggressively upgraded the property. They've upgraded the house, that is, they've modernized it. They upgraded the dock. They applied for a Chapter 91 license. They extended it. And 2 years ago, we applied for the rebuilding of the riprap. In conjunction to that, they also did extensive planting in the back. And any board member who's gone there can see that when the Morans undertake something, they try to do it to the best of their ability. What it is that exists on the lot, starting from the seaward side, is the new riprap wall. The area that's located, that's denoted here, is the replanted beach grass. And if you were here 2 years ago, you would have known a greater portion of this area was scoured. The riprap wall was falling down. My point in saying that is we restored it and we replanted it, or I should say the contractors for Mrs. Moran replanted it aggressively to stabilize it. Upland of that is a area that's basically pretty wooded. It's got a chain link fence that, let me see, it starts over here, goes around, comes down, over to here and back here. And that's important to note because we are rebuilding, or we're rebuilding the pool. And as the member of the board knows, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you have a pool, it has to be enclosed. So part of our proposal is to remove the dilapidated fence and replace in the same precise location a fence that is compliant with the code of the state of Massachusetts. And simply put, it has to be 4 feet high. In this case, we're proposing a vinyl-covered galvanized wired fence. I don't know what the requirement is at the bottom for how close it has to be to the ground, but whatever it is, whether it's 3 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, it's going to be compliant that way. In the conduct of doing that work, all this work will be done by hand. And I'm kind of focusing on the fence because we're going through the vegetated areas, whereas the pool, it already has a patio, there's already a pool, and the footprint is going to be entirely encapsulated within the existing area. So we're going to rebuild the fence. That is a requirement. We just simply have to do it, and that fence is at least 20 years old. Going further upland, we have garden areas, we have an extensive lawn, we have a patio area. The majority of the work is immediately in this vicinity. This is the existing footprint of the pool. Starting here, this is the existing patio. And it comes and wraps around across the house and back to the point of beginning. What we're proposing to do is remove the patio and the pool and rebuild the pool in this location, and the patio again in this location right here. So this is actually an increase in impervious or man-made improvement right in this area. Knowing the requirements of the board, we're proposing to remove the man-made structures and plant here in lieu of the area that's lost here. I think that's consistent because it's within the same buffer. Having said that, we delineated the V or velocity zone, or what we used, and upland of that is the B, or what is now called the X zone. And this is based on the new floodplain maps, and it's shown here as well. Here's the B zone. In order to do this work, we're proposing a construction access area right here. It'll require the loss of a tree, or in this case, they may move it and replant it later. I'm not sure. That's something Elaine can speak to. And in order to stage this area, we propose that during the construction, the basketball court over here will be the staging, construction, disposal, temporary storage area. Here we highlight or we note that this is going to be replanted. Over here, we note that there's an existing septic system that's going to be steel plated, and we're going to try to protect that. Over here, we have just a quick detail about the fence. We repeat that note of fence that all the work shall be done by hand, and the notice of intent is consistent with that. And then here we explain in narrative form that there is no net increase at all in the A or B buffers from this activity. Whatever the man-made surfaces are will be the same, will not be any larger. And whatever's planted, whether it be indigenous grasses or indigenous plants, they will be restored to what existed prior to the construction, with the exception of any invasive plants that are found in the vicinity of the fence. In order to reconstruct the fence, those invasives shall be removed and some sort of indigenous plant will be substituted. The actual species, the size, that's up to Elaine. But having said that, we have had at least 2 staff meetings, or I should say meetings with the staff to discuss those issues. And I think it's fair to say Elaine and Jennifer are on the same page in terms of planting and what has to be done in the sequencing. So that's the project. If the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Jennifer has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've met out there with Jeff and Ms. Johnson and discussed the project and what they want to do, and I have no concerns or comments at this time.
All right, we'll start with Courtney.
The chain link fence exists, is that correct?
That is
Yeah,
correct.
so you're going to rebuild it, but I guess the question is, why is it taking, if you basically have it there for pool safety, why is it taking up so much space? Why can't you just have it surround the pool and the patio?
I guess it's a reasonable question. When they bought it, that was the location of the fence. And it's been there
Understood.
the entire time. I think the other side of it too is to try to put a fence any closer disrupts the flow. I mean, the Morans are fortunate enough to have a large family. They have family gatherings. When we were out there staking it, they had a family swimming in the pool while we were staking the new location. So they use this area intensively, albeit they have a very large parcel of land. I am guessing, and Mrs. Moran could probably support that, 90% of the activity takes place in this area. I think that would be a bad case of heartburn for the Morans if they had to move it in closer. So I'm hoping, and I do believe it's consistent, where the way we're doing this, it can be approved in that location.
All set, Court?
Thank you.
All right.
The fence location, I had concerns of that, but after your discussion tonight, your presentation, that because pretty much everything around that fence is an invasive. It's Rosa rugosa and bittersweet. But now that you're proposing, when the fence gets reconstructed, to put natives back, the only thing I didn't hear is if there's some sort of management plan or follow through, or, and it doesn't show it on the plan, and it really doesn't say it in the narrative. Tonight, your presentation did. And I just think, when we deliberate, it will be made really clear
Condition.
as a condition that that be done.
Management plan for the invasives?
Yeah. And, I mean, is it just going to be in the footprint of where they disturb to do the fence? Because obviously, most of the fence is swallowed up by invasives, so it's going to be a chore.
One of the consultants didn't show up, and I hate to speak for him, but I imagine it will go this way. If I were doing this job, I would need a path about 4 feet wide.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
So I think it's fair to say anything within the 4 feet or 2 feet each side of that existing fence will be removed and restored at some capacity.
And
I
then-
don't think they should go any further than that, because
Yeah.
now we're talking about the whole area.
Right, okay.
And I
I'm
don't
fine
think
with
that's
that.
our intent.
I'm
I
fine
know
with
it's
it.
not our intent.
For conditioning. Was the Falmouth V-zone shown on the plan?
The V-zone?
The
The
Falmouth?
V-zone is right,
Falmouth
the
V-zone.
V-zone
V-zone.
is right here.
Yeah. And that's the Falmouth V-zone?
No, the Falmouth V-zone would be 25
25 more
feet.
feet in?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that should have been on the plan. Not that it really impacts this project because it's in the same footprint, but it is part of the resource that we do look at. And also, in the narrative, you say straw bales, on the plan, you say limit of work, and I just think it should be clear that it is straw bales on the, a lot of contractors only work off a plan. They don't usually sit and micromanage through a narrative. They like pictures. Then the other thing, when the area gets disturbed, this is a lovely landscaped area, and I just would, it'll be in the condition that it's a Falmouth-friendly lawn, and I do hope the applicant knows that in the town of Falmouth, that we no longer allow any fertilization within 100 feet of a resource area, and that just shouldn't be a surprise when it's in the condition also. Let's see what else. And they might want to check their sprinklers, because they were on an even day. Their house is an even number, and their sprinklers were running at 6 at night on an odd day. There's a lot of landscape there. There's probably 100 zones, for gosh sake, so they might have to run into 2 days. The other thing I hope the board noticed, it was a nice thing to see that it worked really well. When you go in their driveway, you all noticed that, yeah. It was the pavers with the grass in it, and it was
I think
really
it
nice
will
to
like
see
so.
that working so well. And that's all I have, thank you.
Mike?
Plan needs the datum,
Okay.
it's not shown, and the benchmark as to where you picked up the tides, and other than that, I'm a happy camper.
Betsy?
I also agree with you about the pavers, and also I went out to look at the wall and the beach grass.
Beach grass, the moss
And
is
it's
doing
very,
really well.
it looks great. Yeah. It's nice to go back to a place a couple of years later and see that it was done, what was said that was going to be done.
Mhm.
You all set, Betsy?
Yeah.
Mary?
Yes, I was going to comment on the elevations and everything not being on the plan, no contours, et cetera. Also, is the depth going to be the same, the pool depth?
I didn't ask that question, I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Then I assume it's workable with respect to groundwater and all that, so. That's all.
Nothing to add.
Okay, so, getting back to the datum, what you want is the contours shown? Just by way of explanation, sometimes the plan gets so busy when they put the contours on, you can't see the plan.
Or spot grades for,
But we can certainly add them.
Yeah, spot grades would probably be
Yeah.
good. And you wanted the
Falmouth
Falmouth
V-zone shown on the
Mhm.
plan.
Yeah, I made a note of that.
Okay. Anything else? side you might want with Adam? Mary wants some spot.
Maureen wants straw bales identified
On
on
the
the
plan.
plan.
Okay.
And Jackie may want to talk to the landscape consultants and have them start putting together that invasive management plan. How they're gonna remove the invasives, what the monitoring is gonna be over, let's say, a 3-year period, when they're gonna monitor, when they're gonna check. You're not just gonna be able to rip them out and do it, they're gonna have to be spot treated and everything.
Kurt from Clover is managing this, and so I can only imagine he'll be also responsible
Well,
for
then Kurt
managing
from
that.
Clover can come up with a written narrative.
Well, I think
management
Elaine's
plan.
going to do that, and then it'll be integrated or
Okay, fine.
executed by
Can
Kurt.
I ask a question, please? Could you explain to me,
Yep,
because
Ma'am, could you gotta go up to the,
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Sorry, I'm Sue Moran, the homeowner. I have a question. I don't really know what the invasive plants are, so.
Jack, could you give
and
them the
where
mic,
they-
please?
Oh, sorry.
Need it.
I do not know where the invasive plants really are that you're talking about for sure. Could you explain them to me as to what you're deeming that's invasive and the location that you're talking about? So just so I have a
We
better
can go out in the
understanding.
field and discuss it with you. I can't really pinpoint where all the invasives are on the property, but there is invasives where the fence is.
Okay.
So we can do that.
So is that things like poison ivy and things like that?
No,
I guess-
bittersweet.
Rosa rugosa.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's what I saw.
Rosa rugosa though, years ago when I bought my property, the people were mandated to put it in before they could sell the property, so now we can't have it anymore?
You know, I think you and Jen can work this out.
Can work on that.
Just have to
I'll
work
work
with
You
with
could
you.
explain it to me and.
I'll
Yeah.
work with you.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
You do have some invasives that are going to need to be treated out there, and we can go over that at a later
Okay,
date.
thank you.
All right, the board satisfied?
Yes.
Okay, I'll
Jack, what are
entertain.
you putting on your plan? Spot grades?
I have
Falmouth
5
B-zone,
items. I have
straw bales,
Falmouth
datum.
B-zone, datum, a note about the Falmouth friendly lawns,
Yes.
the straw bales, and spot elevations.
Thank you, Jack.
All right.
With all that information and the changes that we've requested, I'll close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
3 seconds.
Thank you.
Three
Thanks for your
seconds,
time.
okay, So,
I think that's called a third.
Maury, and we'll give it to Betsy, the newbie. Any other public comment on this? Hearing none? All those in favor of aye? All those in favor, say aye.
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 You in favor?
Yes.
Oh, good.
All those opposed, no. Unanimous, so moved.
I'm in favor as well.
Thank you, Jack.
Nice to see you, Jack. Good, yeah. Parking's getting to be a problem, though.
It is.
Parking.
I was rudely
Unbelievable.
cut off my parking.
We're gonna have our selectmen do something about that.
You parked down and back, and I was just like
Yeah.
forcing you to back up because he decided he wanted to.
Parking.
Parking and back.
All right, next up. This is a continued request for a hearing on the notice of intent. Ying Chang and Ting Yen of 379 Walker Street, Falmouth, Mass. Permission to demolish the existing house and construct an elevated, single-family with carport below, ramp, retaining walls, driveway reconfiguration, fence, town sewer connection, install dry wells, utilities, and associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we continue this hearing for additional modifications to the plan. We received the plan on July 9th from Mr. McGrath and from the GS Design Group. The grade changes were eliminated. The Versalock retaining wall along the ramp was eliminated. And if I can ask for one question, you're gonna do that fieldstone tiered for the ramp like you showed in the submittal from the hearing before, correct? Okay, that. Yep, okay. And the Versalock retaining wall on the carport is eliminated. I think those are the changes we want, so they still have the stockade fence in that small portion of the V zone on the north side of the property, but the rest of it is the hedgerow. I do have one other question. That's just the fence, that's not the Versalock anymore along that north property boundary.
Correct.
Versalock on the entire site has now been eliminated.
Correct.
Okay?
Right, and quorum, Betsy, if you could.
Is Jamie, Mary, Russ, Mike, Maury.
Very good.
George Gikitas Stewart Design Group, architecture group, representing the residents. As you know, we have an existing non-conforming structure. We are making a conforming structure as per state building code. We are using breakaway panels, which we are giving you a sample little image of. And they are more of a screen element than an element to create more usable, habitable space. If you look at the partial elevations, they're essentially framed openings a little bit larger than these windows that are here presently. And we also are going to tether them at the corners where they need concrete to address some of the concerns, but they are designed as per state building code.
All right, let's start on the right this time. Jamie?
Nothing yet.
Mary?
This is something, a new comment, so I apologize for that. But the stockade fence kind of has bothered me all along, and I was wondering if the applicant might be open to a somewhat I'm not sure what the terminology for the different fences are, but there are fences that have more separation vertically between the panels, but would still,
Shadow fence.
maybe that's the name of it. I'm just wondering if we could have, if they'd be open to something with a little more flow through.
I mean, if you had something that, like, you had like a 2x4 and you put, a panel on one side vertical, 1x6, and then flipped it on the other side.
Exactly, yeah.
Absolutely, no problem. They have to mark it down.
I think that would, okay,
That's
good,
fine.
great, thank you, that's all.
Mike?
No question.
Maury?
No questions?
So, can you explain the ramp to the carport? What's the need for the ramp?
For handicap, and the fact that we are up 13 feet from the existing grade to the bottom of the structure, then the structure, so we're essentially about 14 plus feet. We can't physically fit a stair that will fit within the allowable building envelope for code, so we had to ramp up a little bit.
Okay, all right, that explains it.
And the client's mother needs a wheelchair.
Okay, all right. Jamie, you all set?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? I will.
I make a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
Maury, Mike, any comments from the public on this? Any comments? Okay. Hearing none. All those, we'll take the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions? I believe that was 5 to nothing. Right?
All of us. It was
Unanimous.
Yes, unanimous.
Unanimous, those who's right, of the quorum, I'm
Nothing.
sorry.
Yeah. He's been watching too much baseball.
I know,
AKA.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
And
Thank
thank you
you.
for those changes.
yes.
Courtney and I are in the
Very
other
much
league.
appreciate that.
5 to nothing. 5 to 2.
We're in the fifth inning.
If any.
Never too late to lose.
No. All right. Next up, Richard and Linda Salmon, 365 Shorewood Drive, East Falmouth, Mass. Request to amend the existing order of conditions, DEP 25-3967, to add approximately 1,400 square feet of lawn around the house, maintained using Falmouth-friendly lawn guidelines. Tom?
Good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Tom Barker with DSS Design. We've been before you, this is the third time, I think, on this particular project. First time we put an addition on the garage, and this addition on the garage and on the kitchen. More recently, in addition, we expanded their deck. That was after the flood zone changed, so no longer within the Falmouth velocity zone. And I think this was an oversight where they didn't tell me they wanted some lawn around the house, so coming back to you with this, as it was in the announcement, lawn is basically not a big expansive lawn area, but a loop of grass going from one side of the house around across the front, back up to the other side, 1,400 square feet. It's only a very small amount of it up in this location is within 100 feet of the top of the coastal bank, which is out here, right here. The coastal bank there, so 100-foot buffer. Otherwise, it's lawn in the flood zone. Be built and maintained according to Falmouth friendly lawns, no irrigation. We'll take any questions.
Jen?
I have no questions.
Court?
Is this going to require an irrigation system?
Well, as I believe in your regulation, you don't allow irrigation systems.
Huh?
You don't allow
Not in this
irrigation
area,
systems.
No, that's why I'm asking.
It'd be
Okay.
a condition of no irrigation systems, I imagine.
No questions.
Mike?
No questions?
No questions.
Mary?
No questions?
Jamie?
No questions.
I got no questions either.
With that, I make a motion to close the hearing.
And I
take-
second.
So
under
Maury
advisement.
made a motion.
There may be a record, Tom.
Betsy seconded
You
that.
can put that down in your logbook.
It is just.
Okay, any comments from the public?
5-0 unanimous.
No, 7-0.
7-0, this one.
Wait, did we vote yet?
Really big.
No, not yet. I put it out to the public. Anyone have any comments? None. Hearing none. Now I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions? Unanimous, so moved.
You got a 7-0.
I know.
All right.
Does that beat?
Nothing but a mess with Rob.
Does that beat the 5 to 9?
We're not gonna go there.
Please. All right. The next one was continued to, the request to continue.
July
the-
29th.
yeah, July
July
29th.
29th?
Was it?
Yes, it was
August?
July 29th.
Okay. All right, closed. All right, other business. Appoint member to the Community Preservation Committee.
Okay,
We have nominated
yeah, and I
Bird.
had said that I wanted to have a week to think about it. The dilemma that I face is that a lot of my Thursday nights are already committed. I'm on the board of directors of the Falmouth Track Club, and they meet monthly on Thursday nights. And then I have some other standing commitments. Now, I don't.
Hey, Tom.
I don't have a problem serving on there, but has to be an understanding that these other commitments would take a priority. So it might meet then, rather than meeting once a month or twice a month, I might only be able to get there once a month. Now, I'm not sure that that's acceptable. I think what you're looking for is somebody that has a commitment that, you know, I mean, frankly, it's not other than the fact that my Thursday night are pretty full, you know, I am retired, I have plenty of time on my hands. If the meeting were during the day, it wouldn't be an issue at all. You know?
Well, I'm not familiar with it, and Mike is our member that's been with it for 2 years, so what's your opinion, Mike?
I think I think CPC deserves somebody who will make the meeting. It is a significant commitment, and if you can't be there, and it really deserves that attention. I can't say enough that it's good. It's
yeah,
very
and
good
I-
for the
and I agree
town,
with that,
it's good
Mike,
for
and that's-
everybody, and
And you're being honest,
I
yeah.
really think it is good for a member of us to be here. There are a lot of projects that are going to spend money that have the potential impact the resources, and cutting that off at the pass, I guess it happened maybe once in 2 years, but I mean, that justifies it all by itself. So I'd really like to, and I really want to say we should have somebody there, and regretfully, it's neither going to be Courtney nor Rye. So,
Yeah, I mean,
If the board wants to, I mean. we'll
Anyone
just have
else
to
have
send a
any
message
interest?
to the CPC, and we'll have to regroup and consider it. I'm not gonna put anybody on the spot tonight. I'd like each and every one of you to think about it, and think about whether or not, somebody can undertake this kind of time commitment. It is, we will be discussing in the near future, maybe reducing your meetings, kind of like we do on your summer schedule, but maybe on a more permanent basis. I need to discuss it a little bit more with Russ. So that could free up some time for you, but I'm not gonna put anybody on the spot. Just think about it. We'll send the CPC a note tomorrow, letting them know that at this point we don't have a representative, but that we're working on it. And that's all we can do.
What time are the meetings, Mike?
typically Thursdays at 7. Same
7.
It's the same time as the same deal as this. It belongs. And as I say, it is the same as Courtney. It's 2 evenings in the summer, and that gets to be in the same 2 weeks in the summer, and it gets to be a burden.
yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm really torn because it's something that interests me. It's, the issue really is, if I've got sort of pre-existing commitments,
And that's understandable.
you know,
Is it 2 meetings a month?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't we find out what the schedule is, because the 2
No,
meetings per month might be a different meeting than when you're meeting. Might be.
no,
first,
I
second,
know, I understand, but I mean, there's, sometimes there's gonna be a point of conflict. And,
This month would be a point of conflict.
yeah, this month will be, for example.
That was, and I personally struggled
But
with
it's
this
not
last
normal.
summer. I mean, I found myself sitting in Boston any number of Thursday nights when I'm supposed to be out on the road and calling up and saying, I can't make it, you know, and I felt I was letting the committee down, I'm letting somebody else down, I found it difficult. So
Yeah, I mean-
it started out this year and I said, no, I'm not doing it again.
Mike, could you say a little more about the workload? The impression I have is that all the applications pretty much get dealt with in the summer. I guess it's the summer down to fall meeting, town meeting. And how much work is involved in reviewing a typical application?
Again, I personally, as I see every piece of property that comes before there, I reviewed every one of those projects, went and looked at the site, saw they went same. So the visit itself is probably, if you get 12 applications, that may be high because of money constraints, but if you get 12 applications, it's probably an hour to prep and then a half hour on the site, so it's maybe 24 hours, 3 days worth of work during the summer. Your meetings for CPC are, once you're there, your first 6 months, everything's new. I mean, it just all comes at you when you sit there. It takes more reading, but once you're into the groove, if you will, once you've been part of all the meetings, and particularly the second year, it's just all new, then the time is in the meeting. There's very little through the most of the year. There's almost, you sit through the meetings, do a little bit of reading, and that's about it, you know. So and there are 2-hour meetings typically, Sam, maybe less. Start at 7 and you're over by 9. And they're very cordial. It is truly, it's not different, but I contrast it to Concom because you're making people feel good by spending money.
Right.
As opposed to here, you do
Saying
nothing
yes
but,
instead of
say
saying
no. So it's a rewarding experience, and it shows you another side of the great town Falmouth is, and somebody deserves the attention. It really does. You know.
Okay, so just, I want to see if I heard you correctly about, for each project, I got the impression from what you're saying, there's not a ton of paperwork submitted or...
The paperwork is, you'll follow it, it's been streamlined over the last 2.5 years I've been there, it's been streamlined, you get it in a package, it's in a form. The town had, and I say we when we were CPC, that we didn't have good administration from it. It was a lot of work, but the projects come in well prepared now, they're met. You can wrap your head around them very quickly. It's putting it very easy on it, and now it's a matter of digesting what they're saying, thinking how it fits into the CPC program, seeing it, and then being prepared to give discussion as to which is more deserving. Because when you're going to be faced with a lot of great ideas without enough money. And so it deserves, I mean, that's one of my point is it deserves your input. You can't just not go because some applicant can get shortchanged if you haven't given it the thought that it deserves.
Sam?
Can I add to this? I'm the liaison for the CPC. I would echo Mike's comment. This is a really important committee. You become the stewards for 3% of the real estate taxes that people pay in town. I mean, you are the stewards for the citizens of Falmouth, and you know all these projects have to be screened. And while the application process and review process is part of that, then there's the ongoing oversight, if you will. And each member of the CPC is assigned a project as a liaison. So there's some additional responsibility to keep track with whoever the project manager is and make sure that what's being reported in terms of progress is correct. But you have 2 administrators, you have the official administrator and then a consultant to back you up as resources. And I think I agree with Mike, top-notch professional people so you get good
It really is. It's very different than when I went on. You know, and that's, Courtney's torn, I'm more torn. But I'm just not putting myself where I'm shortchanging the CPC on a regular on a Thursday evening. I'm not doing that.
Where do they meet? Where do they meet?
Administration building.
I'm
School
sorry.
administration.
School administration.
School administration, 7 o'clock, 2nd and 4th Thursdays of every month.
May I say, during this application review process, they oftentimes have to add an extra day depending on the number of applicants. So there's some flexibility in there. Otherwise, it's pretty routine.
Yes.
Did you mean that they added a 3rd meeting in a given month when you say?
I think this particular application round, they had so many applications that they kind of had to add an extra meeting just to take care of that review process.
That's the first time in 2.5 years. So I would.
And that's one meeting
aberration,
over the
as I
whole
say.
season? Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
this particular time of the year, the applications come in,
Right.
and then there's a presentation process, and everybody needs to be there as well as do your homework ahead of time and ask those critical questions and help you differentiate between the ones that can be funded with the available funds and those that are going to have to wait.
again, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, just think about it for a week, guys. We meet again on the 29th, okay?
I'll just volunteer that I would be very interested, I feel similarly about the importance of that committee, and they do things that I'm interested in and care about, but I have similar reservations about the schedule, and, summer tends to be one of my bad times at work, but it's not out of the question.
Throw one thing out
Yeah.
as an enticement, maybe, they have put together a really comprehensive handbook for their members now, as a reference. I mean, it's literally about an inch thick, something
At
like
least.
that. And it's an excellent resource to help you come up to speed or to prepare for a particular agenda item ahead of time. So, really done a nice job of providing all the members with a good piece of reference material.
If
By whoever raises a hand here, I'm more than willing to take whatever time it takes during that first time to, if the questions arise, or you feel more prepared, I'm more than happy to meet, with Mother on Thursday evening, go over the questions, and if that'll help anybody do it, I'm glad to give the time.
If any one of the members wants me to get a copy of that handbook, we can do so this week if you want to come and look at it.
That would be a great
Yeah,
idea.
Okay.
Have it in the
Yeah, I don't
office.
wanna, I feel bad putting anybody on the spot. I know it's important. It is a dedicated committee, but I can answer any questions in the next week or two, and you can revisit this on the 29th if you'd like.
Jamie, do you have something else?
I do, out-of-the-box question. Is it presented and voted on the same meeting? Does that make any sense?
No.
Yeah.
The presentations are made for all of those projects, and then there's actually they provide you with a kind of a rating evaluation form to help you kind of sort through and rank
Okay, I'm
them.
sorry, you already said that, right?
Yeah. So, and then later they decide which projects to forward and which ones to
To fund you.
put forward or be fund.
So just to ask, couldn't be two members of this board?
Well, I think there has to be continuity.
Yeah,
Yeah, also,
I
but
think
And
the
that's-
same person has to listen to all the,
yeah, that's,
Okay.
and
And
they
then
have a charter.
be able to evaluate it.
I'll just point, if I could be every Thursday night, we wouldn't be bringing this up, I'd be there. Yeah, I mean, that's the rub is,
No, it's-
so that doesn't help you.
yeah.
I just want to make a comment, and I'm not going to
Absolutely.
volunteer, I can tell you that right
Your
now.
hand's up.
You can eliminate me, you can eliminate me
You got
from the
your hand
list. But I do want to say, because I've been involved from the point of view of being an applicant, on the part of this board in the past and other committees. But just my comment, because I sort of keep up with CPC through the years, that I think they've really added a lot to the town. I mean, there are a lot of issues, and everyone who comes before them has a good idea. They can't all be funded.
No.
But I think it's an opportunity for people who have projects that fit into the four categories and that also can be distributed correctly in a given year. It's really great to go around and see projects around town that have been supported by CPC.
Any other discussion? Well, we'll come up with something,
Revisit it on the 29th.
yeah.
If anybody has any questions or wants to see the handbook, we'll try to get a copy of it down in the office, and also we can give you, just to give you what a basic, like an application would look like. The one that the 300 committee and the Concom submitted, you can review that, and you can just see the application itself and what goes into it from an applicant standpoint.
yeah,
Because you submitted.
okay. I would be very interested in seeing those things, but just in terms of my schedule, and in case it helps you out, I probably wouldn't have a chance to look at it until maybe Monday or Tuesday,
That's
rather than
fine.
this week, so if
I
you
can
need
have
more time,
Mel-
that's fine with me.
I can have Mel email anyone the application that we submitted as kind of a sample application
Yeah,
for you to look at.
That's-
I was
that'd be
wondering
great,
if
yeah.
also the handbook, they have an electronic version, that's fine
And we probably have
for me.
it, and we'll see if we can get the handbook to get emailed as well.
Okay,
Right upstairs,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
upstairs.
well, I'm writing a
Yep.
note right now.
All right, any other discussion on this? So we'll revisit on the 29th. The handbook will be available for anyone that wants to look at it. And anything electronic, you know, you can ship it to me. And we'll,
I'm just gonna have her send it to the whole board.
okay. Sounds good.
Don't you mean the 7:29/7:30 meeting?
no, that's against state law.
Well, we could
post it
post
that
it that way.
That's right. I think we shouldn't post it that.
All right, we're still under other business.
You don't wanna
and-
We're
know.
worried about the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah.
It's getting large, but it's actually a lot of
For the
RDAs,
29th?
so.
It's actually.
It's mostly RDAs.
It's mostly RDAs. You've got one enforcement that's a easy enforcement. You got two notices. The big one's a continued notice for
Penzance.
Penzance and the COC, and after that, you guys don't really have anything, so,
Piece of cake.
I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be long because of Penzance, but other than that,
Yes.
Yeah, that's-
I mean, the one of the notices is a Phragmites removal, it's
Uh-huh.
not that.
Right, yeah.
Don't get scared, I'm not gonna bring you guys into midnight.
First meeting I observed was 22 minutes long, and Russ told me that was typical.
Russell lied.
We had it post 11 PM. We had
That
a
got
meeting
you in
that
the
went
door, though,
after
didn't it?
11,
We
I
got
think,
you.
not so long ago.
Just,
Yeah,
Just-
that one's a long.
we're still under other business. Mari had a good point about the D-night systems.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we could put that on a future agenda item and discuss this. I think that's a good idea.
We can do that, so you wanna add that?
Within X number of feet of these,
Russell would like to add a discussion
Impaired
on a
water
later
bodies.
agenda to discuss the possibility
Defy sign,
of strongly
Defy.
recommending
defy sign.
to,
Nitrogen goes in anywhere in the watershed, it ends up there. Why are you penalizing the homeowner?
further upstream, it's gotta go through.
It goes,
This is why we're gonna
Have
have,
a
put it on the
discussion.
agenda, and we'll have a discussion on it, all right?
We
and
are.
not
There you go.
on 30th of July.
Right, because we still have other
We
stuff.
still have other stuff to do.
Stuff. But yeah, that would be nice just to put it on and have a discussion
We
on it.
may need refreshments.
I'm strongly recommending D-nights to,
you're gonna have to tell me why.
We got a month to work on it, how's that?
I have a good presentation for you. How's
Yeah,
that?
that's fine.
All right, that ends our, any other
I'm not a big
business?
fan.
Anyone want to talk about anything before we?
I have
can't require it, it would be a strong recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, so let's move on. Vote enforcement order, 427 Sipawicet Road. This was
all right,
all,
let's get,
Was that on our agenda?
yeah.
yes it is.
Oh, it was on a later one, she missed it. Maureen, do you have the agenda that Russell passed out earlier?
Oh, I don't know what I have, but maybe it's over
Here,
here.
have
It's
mine.
on the,
Yeah, well, there's a bunch in the chair too.
Here, Lauren.
I'll use yours.
Okay.
I'll share.
Let's see
I
that
got it,
one.
just-
All right, this is the enforcement,
Oh, okay. No, mine's different, but that's fine.
yeah, we've added that one. This is the enforcement order,
Weren't these the people we had last week?
yes,
Okay.
it was,
Oh, you give that back.
this is Sipawicet Road.
The real
Grand
estate lady.
Street.
Yes.
Staff's recommendation would be that the trees that were removed to be replaced, some of them cannot be replaced in kind, but we would suggest, remember Mark had that little schematic for you? We would recommend the equal caliper inch and within the buffer to the vernal pool.
You mean total, on a total basis?
On a total basis, yes. But I don't want to see 2-inch trees either. This should be a substantial sized tree.
Yeah,
can you put that in there, minimum size?
Yes.
not sure.
Yeah.
How does 6 inches So,
Um,
6 inches or larger.
The thing is, through you, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mark?
that's big.
larger trees
Big one.
take more water, they don't transplant as well. Their mortality rate is much higher when you jump out a 2.5-inch caliber. I know we'd like to penalize them, but that's not what we're really here for. We want to have sustainability of smaller trees, they take less holes to dig. A 6-inch caliper tree is it's like a 4,000-pound ball.
Yeah, it's
I
big.
mean, you need huge equipment to, you're not gonna skid in there with a ball carrier. So to have more trees that are gonna survive, I think are better than, 10 6-inch caliper that are gonna be a big invasion into that area. Don't forget, it's a vernal pool area. Wood frogs live there, it's, year-round habitat, and you're gonna be excavating a hole to sustain one of those trees quite large. So, smaller trees have been proven, it's a 3-year shock for every caliper inch. So, you can, that it takes for it to start to regenerate again, so.
I would also
And
put in
it's-
there, installation of the trees be outside the vernal pool.
Yes, and that there also, I think we have to put in there that there is a maintenance program with a
Oh,
tree
yeah, I'm not
person.
done.
Oh, okay,
I'm
for
not done.
winter moth and everything else, because they'll just get eaten alive and,
That the trees that were upland be reviewed by a certified arborist of the commission's approval. They can submit,
Mhm.
we're not gonna choose the arborist for them. They can submit the arborist credentials to you, and you can either approve or request additional names. So that they can monitor the trees that were severely upland and see if they actually do come back, and if those trees do not come back, that they'll need to be replaced as well. And then, as Mary said, a mitigation and management plan to ensure the tree health and that they survive. And that would be the staff's recommendation.
so moved.
Second.
Any other discussion?
The trees that were, the grant, limbed,
Correct?
were they, do you say they were infested with winter moths?
No, we
No.
don't know.
We
We don't know.
So if they were, they could.
They're oak, right?
They
They're
would be
black oak?
stressed.
Are they black oak?
Courtney, I wasn't on site.
Okay, because
Okay.
the other issue with black oaks is they have that gall wasp,
Yeah.
and that's a double whammy. And
No, I understand that. That's why we're saying that they need to hire certified arborist to monitor them over the course of the next couple of years to determine whether those trees come back, or if they were so severely stressed with some infestation that they won't come back because they were limbed. That's all we're saying. So,
And if they don't come back, then they gotta replace it.
correct.
All right, we have a motion. Who made the motion?
I did.
Laura was the motion. We need a second.
Mary did.
Mary?
Second, I don't think I did, but
Somebody
do
did.
it now.
Okay.
I didn't, I can't.
And so the motion is to accept the staff's recommendation.
We'll have it drafted for you to sign on the 29th.
Okay. So let's take a vote on it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. So 6 years it's going to take for those 2-inch calipers?
It's substantial. Where they start to, get a good root mass. I mean, there's unbelievable new products out there for, root stimulation and that sort of thing. But, you can put a cedar this big in the ground and a cedar this big in the ground, and this one will catch up to this one. It's amazing. So sometimes more small ones is better than 6 big ones.
Do you inject microRISE into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
It is. You can see the roots, they'll grow 2 to 3 feet in a year with microphones.
Yeah. Well, it's like 10 times the surface area
Yeah.
for absorbing stuff.
Yeah. So we have new products to help, but the bigger they are, and don't forget, they've been sitting in a nursery, and they're stressed out from, it's just,
All right, let's see, we're going on to vote orders of conditions, 18 Millfield Street. Do you have the quorum on that, Jen? Andy?
Susan does.
Jamie, Mary, Russ, Mike, Maureen, and Courtney.
This was the,
Oh, Mr. Chairman,
yes,
remind me to talk to you tomorrow.
okay.
Seawall repair and a lot of removal of unauthorized work
Yep.
from a previous order and mitigation.
Oh, yeah, this one. I'm looking at the
Yeah, I
last
withdrawn a
plan,
blank
and
on
it
that,
doesn't
too.
look familiar. It's not my color plan.
Millfield, Ballinsall.
Your pond?
I
Like
had,
Cadwalder's house?
Yeah, they're removing the patio, they're removing the unpermitted steps, they're adding new stairs.
This is the house they removed, just removed.
They're relicensing the existing ramp and float.
Mary.
did you have anything on this, Jen, that you wanted to start off with?
Yeah, that they were gonna put a 10-foot wide buffer strip in to comply with an old order.
Mhm.
And the staff would recommend that those shrubs be planted prior to compliance being granted on that order.
Okay.
So we'll permit the work under this order, we just did that, we permit the work under this order, and then once that's done, we'll grant compliance on the old order, but I will not grant compliance prior to this work being done.
Okay.
Just the mitigation for that old order, and then they have some other proposed mitigation for the stuff that they are doing, the new stairs and landing, so. That's what I have.
All right. Any other discussion? Mary, you all set?
Yeah, I had asked, they had a proposal in the narrative about using the inkberry as a landward line of demarcation for the mitigation, and I had asked that instruction be put on the plan. And I don't know if they,
They haven't submitted a new plan, so give me 1 second, I'm adding something, Mary.
So you're suggesting that they have to...
yeah,
So they use the inkberry as a line along the mitigation, that landward edge to
Yeah.
demarcate it.
and they proposed that themselves in the narrative, and I thought it was a good idea, and
But you want to see that on the plan?
I'd like to, yeah.
Okay.
I'd like it done, and I think actually, just to generalize for a second, it's maybe a good idea under a number of circumstances, particularly where there's a large temptation to undo the mitigation.
And Mari brought up earlier, a lot of times the contractors, they're looking at the plans, they're not reading the narrative.
Yes, right,
So.
right. If you
it
want it
is.
done, it should be on the
Yeah,
plan.
it really should be, that's.
All right, so I'll put that on the revised plan, you got it.
Yeah, That's a good practice.
Maybe Jen should send a letter to all of our regular visitors and just remind them so that we don't have to keep reminding them about things like this.
Or putting that on the plan?
Yeah, that if there's,
I'm sure your lovely administrative assistant could do a wonderful email that could go out to all the
and should
Yeah.
have fun
requiring them,
doing that.
reminding them of the requirements. We do that quite
Yeah.
often here.
Actually, it seems to me they've been pretty good about it for the
Yes.
most part.
They
But
have. We've had to send a few emails out, just as friendly reminders.
You might say there's some
Certain
cranky
things.
new people on the board.
But I think what Jack was saying too, they probably look back and then they see it and it's so cluttered and they say, we'll take this out, we'll take that out. You know what I mean? I wonder how much that happened.
yeah, who knows?
Betsy's not buying it.
Yeah,
But
Um,
when you
The-
start using that as an excuse for leaving the postal bag off,
The mitigation planning's under the old order, which
correct?
they're rolling in there.
Yes.
Are we insisting that those be planted before the work starts?
Well, usually we'll say that those, if the planting, generally, we will put in the condition for you that the plants go in first if the planting area is not going to interfere with the construction work. So in this case, we could say, yes, that they need to put the mitigation in because it's far enough away from where the work needs to take place, that can be done. And maybe the mitigation for the old compliance should go in first, because it is getting a little close to where they need to remove that patio. Their new mitigation's right there, so we'll make sure that goes in prior to the start of work. Okay?
Yep. I'm good with that.
Anything else? Anything else?
No. To approve the order as discussed.
I am good.
We got a motion by Mary, need a
Second.
second? Second by Jamie. No further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstention, unanimous, so moved. 107 Cliffwood Lane. Was this the deck?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we had a couple breaks.
It's this one. And I don't know,
No, I don't think this is what you were thinking of necessarily.
Proposed additions, okay, there's two.
Addition
and
deck.
I keep looking at this plan, and they said in the narrative that there's a limit of work shown on the plan, and maybe I am just really missing it, but I don't see it.
No, I asked for a little limit of work.
I know
if
you
we-
did.
They agreed, so it's not shown.
All right, so, and we didn't get a new plan.
Well, that I don't know.
Okay.
We got anything. The other thing, there should be a correction. This is a minor thing, but as long as they're going to be putting the limit of work on. In the redevelopment and planning notes, the last box refers to sheet 2, and there is no sheet 2.
Doesn't exist.
So they should take that note out.
And we also asked for an as-built for the septic.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all I had in my notes.
Any other
Oh, and they
comments?
had to put the dry well for the outdoor shower.
Yep.
Sorry.
Sorry, Lauren.
With the conditions discussed, I close it. Wow, just had a
Motion
moment
to
there.
approve.
Yes. Thank you.
Second.
That's why you're the boss.
We have a motion by Maury to approve with a second by Mike. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstention, unanimous, so moved. Next up is,
DB acres, but we can't vote
No
DB
DEP
acres
number, right?
Because we accidentally closed it without a DEP number.
Oh, that's why I have this?
Yeah.
So we're still waiting for it?
we checked this before we came out. We're still
Yeah, we
not in.
closed it without, yeah, it was I knew they didn't have a DEP number to do it, it lost track ran in there. So we're just gonna carry that over. BSS Design was gonna call DEP, check DEP. Has lost some people in the Southeast Regional Office, so,
Awful to lose people in that office.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that.
they lost
Early
their-
retirement?
yeah. So, I think they could be just a little bit behind in reorganizing, so we just asked BSS to give them a call and kind of ask them for their DEP. So we'll just carry that over.
Okay, 38 Scribnocket.
38 Scribnocket is
This
the...
is the plastic sheeting, and we'll do the seawall on.
Or based on elements.
4 beds.
Andrew,
I'm not on any of
I
them.
know.
Did Ms. Fields submit the locations of the sites specific that she said that soft stabilization wouldn't work on?
I did not see anything submitted from Woods Hole Group, but let me check the file.
This was July 1st. Yeah, you wanted that in writing, right, Maureen?
Yes. When applicants, representatives cite places, and then they don't back it up. It's disingenuous to the applicant because, and to us, because we have no clue when they just say, oh, well, we did this one and it didn't work. Well, where is it? If you are so confident in your project, then you should have had that information at the hearing to say, here are 4 sites that we had that this did not work. And it was continued 2 times, and that was, in both hearings, we asked for soft stabilization. So it wasn't a surprise that we were asking for that. And I just find it
The only
irritating.
thing we have,
You specifically had it in the minutes too, because I read the minutes
Yes, I
to
did.
see
Yeah.
what you were
Well,
doing.
because of T-ticket path. I mean, this isn't any different than T-ticket path.
I disagree.
Yeah, I do too on
What
that.
about
disagree
Mike
on that.
Porcelli's
That-
point about the angle,
Of
you know, the
repose?
depth of the depth of the area where the logs?
the only thing we have from Woods Hole Group is dated September 7th, 2011. It's for the adjacent property to
Right.
42 Squibnaka,
That's
correct?
right.
Yeah, that was put in the record.
Well,
I think, I
Yeah,
mean,
We don't have anything submitted.
the other one you're talking about, he had quite a distance from the top of that bank. This one here is 37 feet to that oak tree, and then it just dives right off. That was my concern.
yeah.
You know, because it was so short. I mean, if he had, I forget what
Yeah,
T-ticket
Eaton
path
was,
was, but
yeah.
it was 100 and some odd feet. You know, this is,
The second, maybe we make a motion and bring it up in discussion.
so you want to make a motion to
Yeah.
approve? Is that what you
Yeah,
want to do?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay,
Okay,
so
now
we have
we
a
open
motion by Mike to approve, second by Mary. Now we'll discuss.
But having made the motion, there are a couple things that work against each other here. But I think the biggest one, in my mind, I'm going to go to the end, is DEP approved that bulkhead to the south. If we bring it back, we're going to put the applicant through the cost of going through this whole thing again. It isn't going to go away. And it's going to be overturned. And I'm not in favor of causing an applicant
Okay,
to spend money to get up, just to go through the whole thing and we go through the hearing. So with the understanding, in my interpretation, what was read, and where it is, it's going to happen, and I'm not going to do anything to get in the way to make that more costly. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
I-
That's the bottom line.
I came up with exactly the same reasoning, but I'd also like to say for the record that I'm going to go along with that. But I am a little troubled by the whole discussion about whether it's a sediment source or not a sediment source.
It is a sediment source.
I agree it's a sediment source, and I would just like to note for the record that Ms. Fields said as much in her presentation, but she was really referring to the next door case that went previously. You know, and they're making this distinction, it's one or the other, it's a coastal bank for, vertical bank for storm surge, or it's a sediment source. And she said, with respect to the one that they've already done, it can't be a sediment source because we've got the vertical buffer in. We put the vertical buffer in, which makes the point that you're harming the resource when you're doing that. Now, you can make a value judgment about which function is more important. That's legitimate, but I think that their argument was not entirely
It didn't-
coherent.
The other difference between here and T-ticket, and that's still out there, and I think we've got to be consistent to everyone, is that this is a man-made canal.
Yes,
It's sitting
Correct.
there, and it's
Yep.
it's different than something that was sitting out there on the coastal bank.
right.
So,
It wasn't designed to have.
and
a
I am
beach.
Right.
I am not convinced that with proper maintenance, the logs wouldn't work. You got to do it more frequently, but if you did a cost-benefit analysis, you're spending a little bit of money each year to put in logs in, as opposed to putting in a ton of money to not put them in every year. So I'm not convinced that it isn't work, but I'm not the applicant's engineer or his representative. And if the applicant wants to do it, it's within our regulations, and DEP is going to let them do it, that's what I said.
For me, the bottom line is DEP is going to let them do it. Why drag it out
Yes.
and make it
That's
more
where I'm at.
costly? It's not reasonable.
Right. I would have to agree with that. I just think we need to make it clear to the applicants when they state things, that they substantiate it, that,
I agree with
I
you.
think it's a great point, and.
Well, I did
Maureen,
ask, and they
asked for that
didn't-
information
and we
before
didn't
they
get it.
submitted. They also
Maybe
said-
maybe we should continue until they submit it. I mean,
You
at
already
least then it-
closed the hearing,
Oh.
so we'll just ask them to submit that information.
And they will.
Yeah.
And they will.
Should
Because
we,
they will
we
be
can
back.
make it a condition.
We do
have
have
it,
it,
yeah.
We can make that a condition,
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, it would have been helpful to have that information to discuss during deliberations, and in that case, you shouldn't have closed the hearing. But you were also told, you know. so. Submit, I'm with Mary, it is a sediment source. I mean, it's not, like as I explained, it's not one of the big grand beaches, but it is a sediment source. And to
Right.
pick and choose, that did bother staff.
Right. And people don't
Yeah,
realize.
I mean, I think
They were
in a
told
way
when
you,
the house was constructed that this would not be allowed in the future.
right,
That was a risk that
They
was
knew.
undertaken.
right. I mean, I think the board is in a position where we have to pick and choose an interpretation on that.
Absolutely.
It's not wrong to be picking and choosing an interpretation, but, anyway.
I get it. And examples.
And I hope people, that are watching this realize that sediment sources aren't just to make beautiful beaches for people to sit on.
Yeah.
They are far more important to the, the
They
ecosystem.
provide habitat for clams to
Yes,
live in,
right.
among
Among
other
other things,
There,
things.
there are shellfish there.
and there are shellfish there, so.
Did we discuss on this having a condition of mitigation for any sacrifice trees?
Don't recall.
Well, we were told that they weren't gonna remove any, I thought.
Yeah,
thought
I
there
think
was
that's
one.
where the
They
word,
There's one.
said was gonna
Semantics,
go, and they opted to put a tree in to replace it.
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
They're gonna lose it anyway, so we might as well do it now.
Okay.
All right, well, we got a motion, a second on the table. Everybody's good?
Call for the vote.
I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstention, unanimous, so moved. All right, next up, 29 Juniper Point Road. This is knock down and rebuild.
Correct.
That's what,
What was that? Not putting your best in.
29 Juniper Point. It's
That's the one out on Woods Hole.
down by the airplane house there.
The one they're gonna cut all the maple trees
yeah.
down?
They need to, They added
Swimming
some
pool?
things, they submitted their revised plan.
retaining
I
walls.
have a special condition note here, installation of irrigation.
They requested it, yes, they did.
Okay. I think the only real discussion point was the landscape plan and the, for better word,
Jen, I have a note on here that for the retaining wall calculations, were they included in the?
yes, I specifically
okay.
asked him that at the last hearing.
All right.
If he calculated, because he was using that, he was calculating the existing retaining walls as existing impervious surface, but he wasn't calculating the new retaining walls as impervious surface. Well, I wasn't sure, so I asked him to double check that and his testimony before you, those calculations were in.
Okay.
So, I think the discussion points, or a lot of the discussion points revolve around the removal of the Norway maples, or one of the big Norway maples, and locust.
The Japanese pines, the
Japanese
black jack
pine,
pines.
And then the replacement of, so there's, not counting Amelanchier, they've got proposing 5 tupelos, 4 cedars, 1 pitch pine and 3 white oaks, and then the 5 shepherds. And they are removing
Wasn't a lot. I have it written
quite
down.
a few
Caliper inches of,
caliper inches of trees.
somewhere I have it
Yes.
written down. It
The
was
Norway maples.
60 or 70, or 100 or something, 131 I thought, for some reason.
Yeah, it's more than 50 or 70.
Yeah, it was 131.
120, I thought, or
Okay.
something like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
that they're removing.
And,
Uh,
and restoring something like 70,
email me tomorrow.
That's about right.
maybe.
Okay, it's right here. 130 removed, 70 inches in the A zone, and replacement is it's hard to tell because they're doing 7 to 8 foot Amelanchier clump and 4 to 5 foot burlap and bone.
If you don't count the Malinkia on good days, it's 38.
Yeah,
So just ask them to.
Double it.
Would you like them to beef up the plant list of the proposed trees they're planting?
yeah, I would think it should be
Okay.
caliper inch per caliper inch in the A zone.
Does it work,
How much was
does
the
it work on
70?
the plan when you look at it? I mean, we're
Um,
asking them,
Well, if they don't cut down the Japanese black pines, which I'm gonna vote against, because there's no reason to cut them down their habitat. And again, the excuse of invasive to remove trees that are in your way and not remove invasives that aren't in your way, we know what the purpose is. And I don't think that's very fair.
It is, just disturbs the whole thing.
Yeah, it just disturbs the whole thing. And, you know, the stumps of those 30-inch caliper maples, I mean, some of them are huge. I mean,
So, Maureen, to the 8-inch pine on the property boundary, what's the other pine?
they're all the pines along, and they're not on his plan, they're on her landscape
No,
plan.
I'm looking at her landscape.
Yeah, there's an 8-inch pine, and then there are 4 down along the, it would be on the north side of the property line.
Yeah, how many caliper inches is that?
They didn't tell us. Wait a minute, I'll tell you, just a minute. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths, 32
I got
inches of pines.
32, I got 8. The Norway maple is,
And basically, she agreed with you, Maury, on that. So, I mean, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be a hard,
Well, and one of the Norway maples they have, they don't show the 16-inch, oh yeah, it's 16-inch. There's a big one in their landscape.
34.
And I don't understand why they're cutting down the 10-inch cedar. There's nothing wrong with a 10-inch cedar. I mean, that's not invasive, and that is native, and it's in the A buffer.
Do you want to keep the 10-inch cedar?
Well, I'm sure it doesn't fit into their pretty landscape plan, because it's
That
by the
wasn't
swimming
my
pool.
question. The question was, did the board
I would
want
like to, I mean, it was healthy, there was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't, some of them sometimes are compromised where they're located.
Are you talking the one just
By the
east of the
pool.
mitigation there?
there's a
By the
double
pool.
pine, and then a cedar, and there's kind of a clump there.
How many Norway maples are there?
How many are they getting rid of?
Three.
They don't, no, more than that, I think. One.
Is there any issue with that,
Three.
with their
3, you're right.
proximity to the pool construction?
Well, they're planting, I think, black tuplar right near the pool, which are deciduous.
Right, no, but I mean, in terms of the construction process itself, are those trees?
Oh, I'm sure that, yeah. I bet it would, you're right, you're correct.
The grading thing?
Well, maybe they should just have to,
Transplant it.
yeah, maybe they could transplant it, because it's a beautiful tree.
is.
Transplant the 10-inch cedar?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I bet you that's what it is. They're gonna have trouble getting a
You're right,
machine around there.
you're right
The
there.
grading goes right by that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they're replacing caliper inch
That's up to the
for
board.
caliper inch.
In the A zone.
That's gonna be up to the board. That's gonna be a lot of small trees. If you're talking 70 caliper inches and you just stated that you can't get over 2.5, you're looking at 35 trees.
Was their argument that the Norway maples are invasives and therefore didn't count?
No, they're saying that they're invasive. Maury's argument is, or Maury's saying, okay, that's great, if that's what your argument wants to be, then remove all of the Norway maples. They're not removing all of the Norway maples on the property. They're removing 3 select Norway maples. Correct, Maury?
Correct.
Which is a good point. If you want to say, just, they're making the best presentation they can for their client, they are invasive, that is correct. But don't tell us you're removing them because they're invasive, because you're not removing all of the invasives on the property.
And not only that, everything's so manicured there, there's nothing's popping up anywhere because it's all mowed and manicured, so.
So, that's what Maureen's saying. So we're going to transplant the 10-inch cedar. We don't have a problem with the pool or the house or anything like that, the grading. It's just the number of trees in that A-zone area. So would you like them to submit a revised plan? Teresa's usually pretty good at submitting a revised plan.
I think that's the way to go.
To do that. I don't think that they're going to be looking at 35 trees, but I will say that you need a revised plan that needs to be approved by the board with a substantially more native trees in the A-zone buffer to replace the habitat that's being lost.
Fair enough.
Fair enough?
Fair
Yes.
enough.
Okay. And like I said, Teresa's usually very good.
Yeah, she was pretty much agreeing with Maury on the removal also.
That was Amy.
That was Amy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are we leaving it to staff to determine what is substantial?
If you would like to review the plan, I could see.
Are you on the-
It's not on the quorum.
You're not on the
It's
quorum.
not on the quorum.
He's
not on the quorum.
He's not on the quorum.
I just asked the question.
No, because my statement to you was to be approved by the board. So we can do to be approved.
All right,
You guys are
anything?
already throwing me under the bus with the Rose Burgos out there. So you can review the tree. How about that?
All right.
Jen, we trust your judgment in the field.
That's all we used to recommend is Rose Rugosa.
Yeah, I know. And so there's a huge, healthy established thing right there, so.
I could see they could start a nursery.
Oh, I know, you guys just shook up over there.
All right, all right.
Talk about Rosa
Anything
Rugosa
else
next time.
on 29 Juniper? Because Susan's freezing over there, I can see it.
I know.
You want my-
It's like, we made the
you want my
same
jacket?
thing with the house.
Want my jacket?
No, you were probably on the board.
What?
There's nothing I can do about it, Susan.
All right.
As a side note, I will tell the board this, it is very scary when you recognize a plan from when you were a commissioner 20 years ago.
All right. So we have a motion and a second on the floor.
No, I move to
So cover her.
issue an approval order as discussed with the, including
which one are we on?
the,
Juniper Point?
Juniper Point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
including the requirement that we get a new planting
Landscape
plan.
To be
Landscape
approved by
plan.
you guys.
Paperclip.
That kind of clip?
Did you get that, Susan? That was Mary.
want a bigger one?
And Maury, I think, seconded it. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it wasn't. a
How about
motion
this one?
before.
That one.
I
Here, give her
wouldn't have
that.
thought about it.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Who seconded it?
Mary, I thought you seconded.
Oh, second.
Maury, okay.
Mary.
All right, Mary. Okay. So we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. 28 Nemasket Road. This is the pool.
This is the pool hanging out.
Oh, yes, the salt pool.
And guess what? There is chlorine in saltwater pools.
Of
course there is.
note taker. That's
Note taker.
What, no
Scribe.
taker?
Can you grab me basket and see what our quorum is, please?
Sure. I think it's gonna be
The
the same as what we
usual-
just had.
The regular five, the Fantastic Five.
It's, yeah, Mary, Russ,
Jamie,
Jamie,
Mary,
Mike,
Russ,
Warren.
Mike, Maury.
It was right here.
Not you, Courtney. Not me.
Good. I gotta go over
You
and
can go
sign.
sign.
I'm gonna go sign.
Yeah, go sign for him.
Well, he can't sign. He didn't,
Oh, you can't
can't
sign
sign.
anything for him. Sit down.
we didn't do any of those.
Yeah, but it's a, what do you call it?
Let them sign.
Hey, Courtney, I got
Sign
an idea.
next week.
You can leave.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, the reason you're signing is not because
Oh, I
Orland.
understand.
It's what's called the,
All right,
What-
Jen.
yeah, the fact that you're here and you witness the fact. That's what you're doing. You're not,
Move trees out of mitigation area. What? Oh, yeah, we have to move the trees out of mitigation area.
Did they submit the
2 trees,
The-
yes, right here.
distance to groundwater that we asked them for a test pit, separation to groundwater to the bottom of pool? No, he said about. He said it was about.
Yeah.
But
I
we,
can check the file, I don't remember
We don't need
seeing
that.
anything
Oh.
coming, again, I don't remember seeing anything coming in.
No,
But I
we-
can double check the file.
Didn't we ask him to put the backwash dry well on this too?
Yeah, he
Yes.
did.
They did.
I think
must
he
have
did
wrong.
the,
where, am I
Brown
No,
Well,
you
missing
need
it?
the revised plan, Mr. Chairman. That one right there.
Okay.
What was
What's
the
the
revision
date?
date?
This one's June 2nd.
Oh, yeah. I think this one's what I'm looking at.
Is there a revision date?
Yes.
Yeah,
Revision,
July
yeah,
1.
July 1.
July 1.
That's it. This date.
We did get a revised July 1. And no, Mary, I don't, Maureen, I don't see
No,
them.
this isn't it either.
The dry well for the pool, you mean? I think there, it's.
I don't have a dry well for the pool on my revised plan of July 1.
No, what?
Show me where it is.
It says, there is,
that-
it's in
that's-
a note, use roof dry well for lowering pool water, provide pipe from dry well to equipment area. I do remember him talking about that.
Why am I looking at the June 17th one?
I don't know, but I still, honestly, I keep looking at this plan. I know the area, I worked in West Falmouth with rocks and boulders and Volkswagen rocks, and I just don't know how they're saving those oaks with the boulders that are almost against the root, because the root's wrapped right around the boulder.
Oh, you mean when they, but they're not, when they remove them?
When they remove the boulders that are next to the
But I
trees,
thought they were gonna cut the boulders.
no,
Yeah, 'cause we-
remove, it's
No,
on the plan,
That's just to get them
remove.
under the ground. That
didn't
has
we
nothing
discuss
to do with the...
anything greater than 2 yards, they would have to just scarify?
Yes, we did discuss that. It's in the
Yeah.
minutes we just approved tonight.
Okay, I just want,
Yeah,
So in theory, they're not gonna take away,
well, they have to remove that one boulder right there where the patio is, because their patio's on top of it. But other than that, I thought they were just
Gonna
gonna kind of
knock
cut
them
the
down?
boulders like they did at the last part.
They're gonna take out some boulders when they dig that swimming pool.
they're gonna dig some big boulders. They're gonna be blasting.
That's what I'm wondering, are they gonna be blasting?
Well, they can't, they're gonna have to, they're gonna hammer them. They'll, big hydraulic hammer.
The trees that we killed.
Oh, the neighbors will love their foundations.
sorry?
The trees that we killed for all this.
Not my problem.
That's the first thing that surprised me.
Sure, absolutely.
So wait a minute,
Sad.
are we gonna cut the tops of the rocks and let, except for the one that they absolutely have to remove for the patio? Are
Yeah, I think
cutting
we
the
gave 'em-
rocks or removing them?
Yes.
I,
I thought that was
Yeah,
a foregone
for
conclusion.
conclusion.
I thought we discussed
Okay.
that's what they were gonna do.
Yeah,
Except for the one they have to remove for the patio.
right.
Correct.
So they have to dig the swimming pool.
and the logic that this couldn't be an above-ground pool instead of being 5.5 feet in groundwater.
3 feet in groundwater, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think you're right, 3 feet.
It's 8 feet deep and he says groundwater.
Approximately 3 feet. Pool is 8 feet.
That's what I remember.
3 feet below groundwater.
That's a deep pool.
Yep, it is a deep pool.
And without, I mean, that's his, again, when we asked for information, I asked it both hearings for a perk test. Both hearings I asked for it, and we don't have it. And what I hate seeing, and I've
How about
seen,
they can't start
being-
construction unless we get a perk?
perk test, how's that? Because,
Yes.
Depth to water.
yeah, groundwater, yeah, just to find, well,
I
that's.
understand
Not a
you're-
perk test, I know, I've said that wrong, correct. Where the groundwater is at.
And
All right, depth to groundwater, not approximate, prior to start of construction. How about that?
That sounds good.
that's probably good, that's probably in
For
the
themselves.
applicant's best
Best
interest
interest.
anyway. Because
Right.
he's
No
gonna be having a
approximation.
problem, he should know he has the problem. That's okay, I can go along with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
that works.
the
I also
deed-
have a note that somebody asked for, to use snow fencing to protect
Yes.
some oaks
Yes, orange
near
snow
the
fence.
excavation.
Orange construction fence?
Yeah.
And
That's
two
what I
by
meant,
fours,
yeah,
you know,
sorry.
that they
That's what I
wrap
said,
around
yeah.
them so they don't pooger them.
Around oaks to be safe, got it.
And I
Okay.
think also there's a cedar, to protect the cedar too.
Yeah,
Got it.
like where those boulders are being removed near the pool.
What was that, Mary? Courtney?
There's cedars near where the boulders are being removed or
Or knocked down.
knocked down.
Yeah, that one has to be
So
protected.
they should probably be protected.
Yep.
All right, anything else? Entertain a motion.
Oh, I have one more question. The dewatering, that if they run into any problems during the dewatering, that they had to stop work and notify staff? This looks like a West Falmouth Harbor debacle.
Got it.
Those neighbors will be here if it is.
Oh, the neighbors will be all over this.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. I'll entertain a motion then.
I make a motion to accept the project as discussed.
Second.
So Mike's motion, Mary's second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no.
Aye, I'm opposed.
You get that?
This was weird. I didn't sign it.
4-1.
You can't tell who he is. But we are allowed to take
59 Old Knot was
stuff.
just Mr. Sarad coming back and asking you to reduce the length, just asking for permission to reduce the length. He still maintains a 3-foot water depth under the lowest portion of the float to exchange the water, so
I make a
There was
motion
no
to
other
accept the
thing.
project as discussed.
Second.
So that's a motion by Mike, second by Maury.
Mike and Lauren?
Yep.
Correct.
why are you still bothering?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Unanimous, so moved.
Courtney wants to be on some point.
Betsy?
Can I ask a question
Absolutely.
before we adjourn? I know everybody's anxious to adjourn.
Wait a minute, I have to, let me just, okay, what?
So my question to you is, there's a problem with the white land. I want the public to know it has nothing to do with DPW, it has to do with the state. But when they do that repair, can they come back into us?
I need to talk to them about that, correct.
All right, is there anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no.
Aye.
Night, we're adjourned.
What,